Developing, eh? Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to the RationalInvestor.com's weekend edition. Hey, we're live on YouTube. As you can tell, I will put that on mute just so I see that it is running away in the background, and I see there are people over there on YouTube. Hello, Thor. Says, "Woohoo! Chickens for the win." Good morning, everybody. It's Sunday. This is sort of our casual video that we do through the week. We do actually do a daily in-depth video, and we're actually thinking about taking that public with a little bit more structure. And we have one of our professional traders who joins me on a fairly regular basis, Thomas. So by all means, this isn't exactly what we do on a Monday to Friday basis, but this is sort of Brian having some fun on the weekends. I sort of ad-lib this a little bit. We talk a little stock, a little bit of crypto, really commodities, anything that's sort of hopping and looks interesting. As well, I should really make an effort to address people's requests in the I think we call it the show request room here on Seward's awesome website that's being built out here. And what's so cool is to watch this being built out day by day by day. So somebody remind me, we should take a look at IOTA and ETH. Oh boy, ETH is looking a little heavy here, and XRP. So we've got three names. I think we looked at Romano's coin recently. So that was back at the end of October. But I haven't looked at this in a day or two, so I see somebody asked us to look at a couple names here. So if anything, you know what I want to do here, just so I remember this and I don't drop the ball again. Let's go new chart. And let's put in, let's maybe go like this, something like that. So somebody asked me to look at IOTA versus US dollar. Let's see. Binance, Phoenix. Well, I guess we'll go with Binance. There's Phoenix versus US dollar. IOTA, there's it versus Tether. Well, I guess we'll have to go on. Then they got this US dollars calculated by TradingView. So what the hell, we'll do that one. All right, so we'll take a look at that bad boy. And what else was this here? ETH and XRP. ETH. Where do you think we should look at this one? Well, why don't we'll do a Binance theme. Or maybe not. I don't know. That's Tether, though. We don't really want to be looking at it versus Tether. I don't know, guys. Where do you think we should be looking at this thing? If we were going to study Ethereum versus US dollar, what exchange? GDAX? All right, so Rockers made the call. GDAX now. Where the fuck is GDAX? Is that Coinbase? I think that's Coinbase, right? Coinbase. Yeah, okay. So let's see what we got here. Coinbase. There it is. All right. And somebody wanted me to look at XRP. Good old Cripple. I haven't looked at Cripple in a while, eh? And we'll do that one on Coinbase too? I don't know. Let's see what we got here. Jesus, so many exchanges to choose from, eh? Which one should we do for XRP? Somebody want to help me out here? Bitso, I have no idea what that is. That actually has a U.S. exchange. That's actually a U.S. I wonder what that means. Never seen that before. All right, so where do we want to look at XRP? CB, stick to what works. Yeah, but is Coinbase on here? I didn't see it. Where are you, Coinbase? I don't see Coinbase on here. I don't think it's listed on Coinbase. Anyway. Okay, I'm wasting time here, so we'll do Phoenix just for argument's sake. And why don't we do one first one that you guys post here in the lounge here? We'll add that to the list. So you guys got something you want me to look at here? ZRP. ZRP is not on. Well, EMC2 is looking lively for about 2 weeks now. Any thoughts? All right. Well, and actually, I heard people talking about EMC2 recently. So I don't know what that is. EMC2 is Einsteinium. Oh, okay. We'll look at it versus dollars. Yeah, it is looking pretty uppy here. Maybe not a good idea to chase that, but we'll take a look at these. Okay, so that'll be sort of our review list. So somebody remind me before the end of this, we're supposed to review all of these. This is a public show, so you know, you guys in the YouTube audience, if you have questions, post a question that maybe you'd like posed. Thought it was interesting in the lounge this morning, just for you YouTubers, somebody actually made reference that this is getting quite a bit of chatter lately. And frankly speaking, I mean, this is the kind of stuff that we want to concentrate on. You know, I mean, clearly you're not chasing an up market here, and that's sort of what I like to do, is I like to try and buy against low ends of ranges, sell on these nutso wixa, you know, sell halves on doubles, all that kind of stuff. I got to sneeze. Hold on a second. I had to sneeze and blow. Party. Eric's asking for Zcash. Actually, I think I got a trade working. That's this ZEC, isn't it? Got a nice little trade working on ZEC. I was sort of touting about this in the public recently. Just, you know, try and hunt for your reasons. Nice. I mean, pretty chart. Just really, really pretty chart. You know, try and pull the trigger, you know, in reload zones. You probably heard Brian talk lots about that. And, you know, if this thing breaks the bottom here, I'll just walk away. One might argue on the site recently, and actually our level oneers just had their class this morning. That's why I do this show now, because I wait for that level 1 class to finish. And it's so cool listening to Grim. He's matured so much as a trader. Such a consummate professional. I got to tell you, you know, people in YouTube land, you're watching this, Twitter or whatever, Facebook or whatever. I mean, we have, over the past few years, we have put together such a fabulous team of professionals here. So please don't think that TRI is just Brian. I mean, we've gone way beyond that. Like I said, we've got professional traders Monday, well, through the week. We try to do as many as we can, coming in and giving their commentary. In fact, TRIers, anybody who's watching this, and anybody who's on YouTube who hasn't been on the site for a while, and you're an alumni of the program, we actually have I think there's OK Coin is having a trading competition coming up. And our awesome pro trader, Thomas the Bear, is a big fan of OK Coin. So he's all super excited about kicking ass in that competition. So he actually, I think the other day, even tweeted out sort of a cattle call. All old TRIers were putting together a, let's see, where did he do that tweet? Tweet. There he is. All old TRIers. If you want to participate in this OK Coin trading challenge with us, we put together a team. And I got to tell you, man, I was actually pretty impressed. I just put out just sort of a basic, you know, put your name down if you're interested in participating in the team. And look how many people are like, I want in. So we've got a hell of a trading team building here. I don't know whether we've given up any secrets here or not, but long and short of it here is Thomas is going to be sort of our quarterback for the team challenge. And it, like I just said a moment ago, it's just such an excellent anecdote of you know, 1 + 1 = 3. TRI has gone far beyond. I know Brian Beamish, he's kind of a weirdo. He's, you know, old broker guy set in his ways. And what I absolutely love about this site is it's now starting to morph on to sort of 2.0, if you will. We've trained enough people. We have enough professionals in the community that we're starting to see that sort of ripple effect of the pond. And hopefully at some point, I know it sounds kind of weird, but I would actually like to be able to just sort of recede into the background and just watch you guys take over. You know, we have one gentleman. I'll just quickly show his screenshot. There he is. Boo! Hi, Zach. I can absolutely tell you this gentleman is going to be a fucking monster trader down the road. You know, I just kind of a little tease there for you, and I like to bug him. But, you know, Zach, am I allowed to just show a quick shot of your video? Because if anything, for the public, this is exactly what you have to do. A lot of people come to trading and they're like, just give me the hot pick, right? And then, of course, the market's face ripping up and everybody's riding on coattails and talking about Lambos and all that kind of shit. But Zach came to me about a year and a half ago. And guys, if you really want to get good at trading, it's going to take you a good year or two of working every bloody day at this to retrain yourself, right? I mean, there's a lot of information that we have to pass on to you. But the point here is Zach the other day, and he's in our level 3 program right now. And for our professionals, and we like to call it cheekily, we call it God mode. But our professionals, they have no choice. Right out of the gate, the first thing that we do is sort of talk a little bit about, okay, what does your professional workbench look like? And Zach's given me the green light to play this video. He sent me this video that he's been working on, showing me what his workbench looks like. And I got to tell you, it's damn impressive. This is the kind of shit that it takes to be a pro at this game. Is it going to load? Oh, that would suck if it doesn't load. Maybe YouTube won't let us. Oh, that would suck. Anyway, you saw just a quick screenshot of that. Did you kill the video? Maybe it's gone now. Oh, there it is. But Zach sent this to me the other day and said, Brian, can I have your input? How am I doing on my workbench? And I got to tell you, man, I mean, I'm damn impressed. He's got his trading plan nice and vetted. He's got truths, 7 truths, actually, and that comes from my old prop days. He's got his daily checklists. He's got his demon finders. He's got his mistake logs. I mean, in fact, I kind of want to show this video to all new people to trading so that you can understand how much time and effort and work is involved in actually being a professional. So, you know, hats off to you, Zach. I won't play the whole video, but just this is exactly like if I was going to teach a course on how to be a professional trader, I would actually just basically play this video. Say, you want to be a pro? This is what it's going to take. So, you know, Zach happens to be in the lounge here. And the long and short of it here is I can watch him progressing. Beautiful. And that's, you know, in a weird sort of way, that's half of what I get to do here in my job. Is I'm at the point now, of course, where I've done the prop trading. I was a broker. I mean, I understand journaling, trading plans, all that. It's very intuitive for me. But to get from where you are to where he is a very steep learning curve. And hats off to you, Zach. You're putting the time and effort in, and you're learning. So way to go. And I just wanted you all in the YouTube world to see that this is a profession. It's just like any other profession. You want to be a doctor, accountant, lawyer, whatever, trader. It's the same thing. It takes a lot of time and a lot of effort. Okay, I kind of got off on a tangent there. I'm not quite sure how I started down that road. You know, trade setups. Hopefully you look at this and go, reload zones. That makes sense. Oh, yeah, I got down this tangent earlier. We took this trade right in here, long from, you can see, pretty straightforward. And I'm using the 50% level of this range just from the summer as our profit objective here. I mean, honestly, I have no idea whether this trade's going to work. Nobody does. No, and I told you guys last sort of YouTube video that if anybody who comes to you and says that, oh, I know the future, this is going to happen, either they're privy to insider information and they're technically not supposed to be trading on that. That's illegal. Or they're full of horseshit. I mean, nobody knows what's going to happen. Remember last free YouTube video I went on about you know, the communists and the fall of the Soviet Union, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so back to our story. Bought the reload zone. We're going to risk to new lows, looking for 50% level target tag as a profit objective. And, you know, if you do your little long tool off of sites like TradingView and Coinigy, and then you just drag the stop up to there and our profit objective there, you can see that produces a 3-to-1 risk reward. And, you know, our absolute priority here is to make sure that if we do decide to take a risk in the marketplace and we're proven right, that we get paid relative to when we're wrong. I mean, that's the secret to this game, guys. So hopefully everybody can understand the logic here. Whoa, hello. Somebody's saying hello in earnest. I think, Felix, I'm going to have to mute you, big guy. I apologize. But, all right. Ryan beat me to it. All right. Anyway, thanks for the help there, Ryan. But the point here is this trade's working away. Our level 1 instructor, and I was trying to get down this road earlier. Took me forever. He actually, I trade this thing called the bot setup, and it has trading rules built into it. You know, you try to, you know, like the bot. Let's see if we can show you one. There was potentially one developing here on Bitcoin. Who knows if it's going to play out or not. But the long and short of it here is, if this is AB, all right, so we go AB. And level 3ers, you just did harmonics. So all of you should be looking at this going, oh, yeah, I totally know AB equals CDs. And even level 1ers, we try to teach this as just a very simple trend continuation targeting system. But if this thing is an AB equals CD, and frankly speaking, I don't know. It doesn't look like it's set up just yet. We just made a new low. So we still got lots of backfilling here to do before this trade actually sets up. But what you should see happen, the bot, you notice this 25 level right here. That should be your entry. And what this literally does is it just breaks the trade into quarters. So if I am anticipating this move from here to here, then this now is 1/4 of the trade, and this is 3/4 of the trade. It's really just that simple, guys. And so if you can try and hunt setups where 25 level sets up, and you get some nice structure and stuff, and you take the trade off the 25 level, then what that means is that if I'm wrong, I'm going to walk away on a break of these lows here. And it means that this AB equals CD is no longer valid. If, however, I'm right and it goes to my target, then hopefully everybody can see I will get paid $3 relative to risking $1 on the trade. And, you know, just what we showed you there a moment ago off of that other chart. But, of course, it's gone now. That was ZEC, right? Yeah, there we are. We want to try and make sure that we're taking nice, juicy risk-reward setups. So if we're right, we get paid substantially more than if we're wrong. That's the secret to trading. So off of the bot, there's a trend continuation trade. What I'd like to see is 3 higher lows and structure off of this 25 level to frame the trade. If I have 3 higher lows, and you've probably heard Brian squawk about this before. If we go down and up and down and up and down and then breakout, then I've got this low to defend my trade, this low to defend my trade, and ultimately I'll walk away if this low is broken. That's why I really like the 3 lows. So all of these clowns are going to defend my trade, and I'll walk away if we lose these lows down in here. And, you know, for whatever it's worth, this is a basic component of our site. And in our library, I do like, where are we here? I do YouTube videos explaining how the bot trade works and step by step. So it's a core trading setup that we have on the site. I'm not going to go into how it all works. You know, please feel free to join the site if you'd like to learn how to trade it. But what I wanted to mention here was my buddy Grim, who's now the instructor for the level 1 program, he postulated, he said, I wonder, is this the chart I want? No, I don't think this is it. Where the hell did it go? It's over here somewhere. Too many charts. My head's going to explode. It's one of these. Here we are. He said, I wonder if I take the bot trading rules, enter, move stop to scratch at 50% of the move stop to trailing, start locking in profits at 66% of the move, and there's our ultimate target. If I take the bot trading rules and I apply them to things like RLZ trades, does it help me in the trade process? I was damn impressed because in essence, you know, a trader's life is, they always say, trading is more of an art form than a science. And being flexible and understanding sort of cross application of concepts, and of course, always being open and able to learn new things. You know, I have started to incorporate the bot trading rules in things like reload zone trades. And I got to tell you, it sure reduces the anxiety around the trade process. And I love that. So somebody was asking in the YouTube audience about ZEC. You can see where we entered. You can see where we're going to risk against. We've had the move stop to scratch level hit here. So what that means at this point is if the market does decide to come back down to our entry, I'm just going to simply walk away at scratch. Next bus in 10 minutes. No harm, no foul. I took my shot. Turns out it didn't work. And I'll just walk away. No big deal. I'm not saying that's going to happen. But with this sort of thinking and applying the bot trade metrics to the trade, it puts me into a very sort of relaxed state. I can be in this trade. If we happen to come back down to the entry, I'll just walk away. No big deal. Next bus, blah, blah, blah. If we can get up to 142.58 here, and you can see we hit a high at 139 and change, then I can start thinking about locking profits in. But for the time being, I'm just sitting here, just basically have said that if the market does come back down to my entry, I'll just walk away. So just a heads up there on somebody asked about ZEC. I like the chart. It's a good looking chart. You got a nice W working here. We got a bigger W trying to come in here. We have this cute little W. I think what happened here over the short term, though, hopefully everybody can see this, is we were just talking AB equals CDs earlier. Hopefully everybody can see that we just went AB, CD. So we hit a harmonic objective. And on that event, the market's taking a pause here. So not a big surprise that we stalled out where we did here. You could also argue horizontal support and resistance. This level here is going to be pretty much a brick wall over the short term. And notice, of course, too, that's move stop to trailing. I would have thought we would have gotten up into sort of these almost railroad tracks, but these candle body highs there. And on that event, then I would start sort of locking in profits. Haven't yet. So right now, my stop is still sitting at scratch. So whoever asked about Zcash, Eric Van Valzen, that's a pretty long-winded answer, but what do you think? Did I help you understand what I'm seeing in Zcash right now? I hope so. Okay. When I started off this video on a very funny tangent. Sorry, guys. You know what I was thinking I would do here today, but I just wanted to, one thing I wanted to mention before we get going. Well, actually, why don't we do this first? So I'm a big fan of, all right, Eric says, AKA Unit Golden Unicorn. Okay. I wanted to start off with, I'm a big fan of sort of cycles. I'm a big fan of seasonality. I'm a big fan of the 4-year business cycle. And I noticed in the time that I've been in crypto that it actually follows an incredibly consistent path. It's quite remarkable, really. We go through sort of the basing years, and of course, coming out of the gate. Now, if I understand correctly, Bitcoin actually came to life in 2008. So this only starts at 2011. So you might argue that there was a whole cycle, 2008, 2009, 2010, 2011. But well, if we just start our conversation here at 2011, you can see coming down into the fall and putting in a bottom, right? And then starting to sort of work its way higher. And then, in 2015, we sort of had that same sort of event. Market comes down, marks the bottom. And if we zoom out, everybody who's been in crypto a while should remember that 2015 bottom. Basically, the market went sideways and sort of officially, started the next bull run, in the sort of late fall period. And then we had the big, everybody should remember this. This was the U.S. Marshal Office's auctioning of Bitcoins. It was the second auction that they did. I never found out who actually won that auction. 2014 auction, which is interesting because this is basically when Julian and I started TRI. That was the auction that Draper won up here. But nonetheless, 2015, I think that this sort of marked the bottom. And this sort of got the bull sort of woke up, if you will. Then we go to the next year, what I like to call in 2012 consolidating the base. Same thing with 2016. The big run up out of 2015. Then are we really a bull? Checking the original breakout levels. And resolving back to the bull. And of course, once we consolidated this base and, made higher highs, then we're into the blow off top phase. Blow off top, this is Lambos, orgies, all that kind of fun stuff. Interestingly enough, almost a carbon copy chart, which is a bit shocking unto itself. But nonetheless, blow off top is blow off top. Then following the blow off top, and of course in 2014, that was marked with the big GOX event. And then, sadly, and that was basically into the end of the year. And what's so weird is I remember when this happened, there was a guy on I think it was Good Morning America or something like that. Came out and held up a Bitcoin with the QR code right on the damn TV screen. And somebody literally went and stole his Bitcoin right from him while he was talking to America about this thing called Bitcoin. So, it's just such a great analogy of the public coming in. If you ever hear, Bitcoin being talked about on Good Morning America and, and like on covers of magazines and stuff like that, probably were in the blow off top. This event was marked with a scandal, good old, Mt. Gox. And interestingly enough, even to today, we're still dealing with the Mt. Gox fallout. If I understand correctly, it's the case is now in quote unquote civil rehabilitation. And I find it really interesting how the whole community sort of has lost focus of that conversation. I don't hear anybody talking about those GOX coins anymore, but I'm sure they're still floating around out there. But nonetheless, this was a really nasty unwinding of the bull. Lower highs and lower lows defines a bear market. We had a really nasty harmonic setup, and level 3ers just did harmonics. When we get harmonic patterns that come in and confirm, they usually are extremely long-lasting and very powerful signals. And sure enough, this was a bearish bat, and boom, down we went. The interesting thing about this, and I remember this explicitly, like Microsoft came in and said that they were going to start participating in crypto. They had, overstock and all that coming in, but it didn't really stop the bear slide. So, I do hear a lot of people talking about, different institutional players and stuff coming in. I actually think, to all intents and purposes, the institutions are already in crypto. And of course, they're not going to like publicly come out and say, all right, today we are officially entering crypto. It doesn't work that way. Usually, we're all here to make money from trading. So they're not going to play their hand. In fact, it's kind of funny. Our professional day trader, Thomas, that's on the videos, we actually have some spies at TRI. And unfortunately, I think whenever Thomas reveals his levels, almost instantly you see OKCoin go right to those levels. So really good analogy of where, professionals are not going to publicly disclose their activity because then that puts targets on them. Has anybody seen what's happened to CNBC with their very public comments about where they're entering crypto, like Bitcoin trades, and how their track record really isn't that great? Because they're basically telegraphing to the world where their liquidity events are when they say, and our stop loss is going to be here. So then all these coin operators go, okay, well, so that means there's a whole bunch of orders down there. I'm going to go and take price down there to fish their orders. So I can understand that maybe institutions aren't going to come out and publicly say, we are officially in crypto. Rah, rah, rah. I would say, though, on balance, like I said, CME, I actually think that the sort of official event that marked the end of this bull was that CME event, right? And you can make an argument and think on my old Coinigy charts, yeah. I even had on here CME event, right? I don't think it's an accident that this basically gave Wall Street and the bigger ups the opportunity to lock in shorts at a very, very high price without them having to worry about, OKCoin stop washes and Binance and all that kind of craziness. And frankly speaking, unregulated space, it could be another GOX. You don't know if, if some Wall Street guy is going to strap on $1 million short on Bitcoin, the last thing he wants to have happen is a GOX. So with that said, I think we're still sort of unwinding from that CME event. And that's sort of like the story of 2018 is the unwinding, or what I like to call the hangover of this space. And as I said just a moment ago, I find that the similarities here are rather shocking. So similar that I don't think it's in our best interest to ignore it. Now, does history play out exactly the same every single cycle? Of course not, right? They are. In fact, I heard somebody who actually found the correct quote. I can't remember who said it now. We often make the reference on the site to it, but history doesn't repeat itself, but it often rhymes. You've probably heard that before, right? So am I expecting 2018 to play out exactly as 2014 played out? No. But like I said, just a lot of similarities. I do understand that there are people that will say that, back in 2014, was there actually a lot of tax loss selling? I believe that, yes, there would be, even if it's just on the margin, especially, again, institutional players aren't really going to, publicly disclose what they've said they're doing. And, bigger players might have tax losses that we never even hear about. Maybe, you never know. Maybe even Draper sold some of his auction coins. He bought the auction here into the end of the year to book the tax loss because maybe he has a big capital gain somewhere else that he wanted to offset. Who knows? Obviously, that's going to stir up some debate in the community. I don't know. But the long and short of it here is, and, again, too, are people going to publicly disclose that they lose money? Not likely. So you're not going to hear a lot of people come out and say, I am officially tax loss selling. Look at me. I'm a loser. I lose money. You're not going to hear that. You're just not. But at the same time, too, we have to understand that this is a taxable event window coming up here at the end of the calendar year. And what was interesting about this, too, was I remember that literally as soon as the new year started, there was like one more final dump And this sort of broke the back of this sort of sentiment of the community, and yet that was the bottom. So I'm still thinking that, and also too, and actually the level tours just did this. I don't know whether I can show you this or not. I'll try and do it really quickly. If we go, say, like stamp, and we do a volume profile, and we zoom out, we see that on the profile, there's a problem here. Ideally, this profile, and actually we can see this from back in the last bottom, and we just did this for the level tours, so it was a lot of fun going through this for them yesterday. But in essence, we call these P's and D's. Hopefully everybody can see this. Looks like a big ass D. And when you see this on the profile, right, hopefully everybody can see the D. I'm not that good of a English major. Does that look like the D? I think so. But when you see this on a profile, you have to tell yourself, and this is a very hard lesson to learn in capitalism, but you have to tell yourself, holy shit, value is down here. So, if I'm going to be a buyer, I probably should want to join where all the institutions and stuff are long, which is right in here. And what's really interesting about this is if we just put a horizontal line right on value high there, notice where the market bottomed eventually. Doink. I mean, that's ridiculous, eh? So, but the point here is this is sort of 2015, and notice that the profile is looking a little bit different now. We have this sort of notch that was in here, but as we sort of move through time, you see that value actually starts shifting up because more people are getting into the story. But what I really want to sort of convey to you guys is, the profile's looking full. Like there is this problem right in here that still persists on the chart. I'm not quite sure how to deal with that, but usually when we see a profile look like this, it's basically saying that, we've taken several stabs down against the POC, right, the point of control here. And the market has put in this structure saying, nope, we've accepted here, we're ready to move up. And actually, this is what I kind of wanted to show you guys is other than the POC, can you see how there really isn't very many notches? It's actually looking very sort of square here. And that's ideally what we want to see to mark a bottom. So, if we fast forward to today, and here's a good example. You don't think this is relevant in crypto? We did this for the class yesterday, right? This whole sort of thinking, P's and D's. We had this coin IOC that was very popular in the space, and it basically did the same thing. So you can see, big insano face rip up. You look at the profile, and hopefully everybody can see a big D here, right? And there's the top of value. So if this thing loses its lunch, odds are it's got to come right back down to value low. And sure enough, here we are, right back down value low. So we came right back down to the POC. So this is reality, guys. So just be forewarned, right? Okay, so if we just look at that Bitcoin chart, just right in the short term, when I look at the profile, it's just sort of like, I just don't know whether we're ready to go here. I mean, now here is the range. There's that original breakout bottom. You can see actually right now we're fighting at value high. And there's an old rule that says that, 80% of the time, if we accept into value, then odds are we got to go test the other end of value. There's that POC that we talked about. So you can see how significant this level is here. Now, if we zoom in a little bit and let's say, okay, well, maybe Bitcoin, since the sort of Goldman Sachs came on board at 2000 and, things got really ramped up. Okay, well, if we take the range off of here, you can see, does that profile look full? right? Remember, we want this to look like a square, and just very simply put, there is still a lot of work to do to clean this market up. So with that said, and we've sort of talked lots recently, we sure would like for this to be a bottom. I mean, I know a lot of people in the space are rooting for that. The only way I can really believe that this thing has turned is if I actually start getting like weekly closes like we showed you with that 2015 chart. If I get a nice trading range where it's stabbed against the low end of the ranges and then resolves back above the range, and then we come back down and we actually check the original top of the range, and that holds, and we start working our way higher, then we'll know that the bottom is in. So as it stands right now, whoops, well, here I'll show you this. As it stands right now, we're not quite there. I'd love for us to be there. Don't get me wrong. If we change this to a line chart, hopefully you can see it fairly simply. We've got this clothesline low here. We keep coming back against those lows. And really, good old Brian wants to see the W's. And also, too, I sure would like to see some buyers come back to the market. Put it all together, I don't have any W's yet, and I don't really have any sign that the buyers have come back in earnest. So, yeah, I know. Long and short of it here is, it sort of looks like that. That's what Zach sort of said there just a moment ago in the lounge. If we lose this level, unfortunately, what ends up happening is that we'll probably get a check of the level from the other side and then head down. So my hunch is watch for this. As soon as we do start actually Wing out here, then we'll know that the next bull is here. But for the time being, you can't push a chain. And we just have to be damn patient. It sucks, I know. You all want me to go, oh no, Bitcoin's a new bull. It's going to the moon, right? But I just don't see it here yet. And the interesting thing is we have a bunch of people on the site who are actually rooting for the market to come down here. They're waiting to buy their Bitcoins back down here. Which, of course, anybody who's long Bitcoins goes, no, don't say that. Jesus H. Christ. Right? So, take it for whatever it's worth. If anything, you know what? I used to play a lot of tennis, right? And hopefully, have you guys ever heard the term no man's land? To me, I think Bitcoin is sitting in no man's land right now. We used to say, in tennis, just a real quick side story. Look at that. Yeah, I can draw pretty pictures. Look at me. Right. We want to play at the baseline, or we want to play at the net, right? But we really don't want to play right in here. Because quite often what happens is the ball comes over the net and it bounces right here. So if you're standing right here, you're basically trying to play right off the bounce. And that's difficult to do for even the professionals. So you either want to be up at the net or you want to be at the baseline, but you don't want to be in no man's land. And I might argue, you look at this, clearly top of the range way up there. Bottom end of the range, kind of looks like it's down here. And here we are just sort of sitting, in no man's land. We're not really close to the bottom. We're not really close to the top. We could quite literally oscillate either direction, no problem, through here. So just be careful, guys. I do like the fact that, this low, somebody clearly is defending this railroad tracks low in here. And if we're lucky, right, this thing turns and we start seeing W's and volume starts coming in. We do have a big fundamental event coming in, this backed exchange. And maybe if we're lucky, we start seeing volume ramp up and buyers really step up in earnest and everybody wraps their arms around the market. As it stands right now, I don't think it's in our best interest to declare the bottom here. which kind of sucks because, you know, like the boys are like, Brian, can you do some public videos? Sort of, you know, get the word out about what it is we do at TRI. And of course, I know all you guys in the public, you want me to come out and go, yep, go and buy that. You're guaranteed to make money. Right now, I would just say this is very middle of the road. Okay, so sorry guys, don't mean to be a pain in the butt, but that's sort of what I see here, and sort of what I am thinking is, you know, and actually I do kind of like the idea of this backed exchange listing ETF giving us a nice little pop-up here. I do like that, but at the same time too, I could very easily see once that event happens, that'll be sort of buy the rumor. And this is the red line is basically 2014, the last hangover year. Buy the rumor, everybody goes, rah, rah, it's a Bitcoin's a bull, gotta buy, blah, 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 blah. And then the motherfucker goes and rolls over and breaks down into the end of the year on the tax loss selling. And then we mark the bottom. So I got a funny, I'm still, you know, last video, I talked to you guys about this. This video, I talked to you about this. My hunch is I'm going to be talking about this right into the end of the year. Now, prove me wrong. Bitcoin, prove me wrong. Take off like a rocket here. Keep in mind, I'm long a lot of crypto. So I'm more than happy if this thing takes off. Go and prove me wrong. Make a fool out of Brian. I'll be more than happy with that. But my expectation is there's still one more FU before the bottom is in. All right. I don't know how long I'm going to talk here today, but I suppose I've been blabbing away, Jesus, for about a half hour or so. So I guess I better get going here on these. We had a bunch of requests, so I'll just sort of go through these just so you feel as though I am listening to you. Somebody asked me to take a look at IOTA versus US dollar. And, you know, what I really like about this market now is, and I think this is actually in all of yours best interest, is, you know, I think the tax man in the States has said, holy shit, you know, we got to get on top of these kids. As a result, you know, like a year or two ago, actually getting US dollar denominated price quotes for a lot of these cryptos was next to impossible. So over the past year, with the IRS sort of, you know, getting a little bit serious with all these exchanges and KYC and all that stuff, I see a lot of these coins are denominated in US dollars. This one happens to say calculated by Trading View. So it's not necessarily US dollar listed. It's just what is the US dollar value relative through their calculation. I think, you know, at the beginning of the video, we were sort of going through, can you find, say, the IOT. I don't know whether that's the same coin, though. That looks different, doesn't it? IOT USD, is that the same thing? Because they only have IOT there. It should look like the same chart. Yeah, okay, so same chart. This is on Phoenix, a little bit more history. Ironically enough, guys, you know, think 2014, 2015. Remember Bitcoin? What do you think? How would you have felt? And just ask yourself, right? And you know, I do this with the public. I've done this repeatedly. If you are interested in crypto, put yourself on a dollar cost average plan and just start once a month buying a little bit of Bitcoin. Little old lady, nanny nibbles. You guys have heard me talk about those strategies, you know, at length. And if anything, you're rooting for lower prices because then that means next month's purchase is going to be a little bit less expensive. But if you had taken that approach, oh, and we don't have it on this one. Damn. How am I going to do this? I think I have this on here. Something changed with Coinigy, though. So let me see if I can do this. Give me a second. Are you coming? Come on, you load, damn you load. Oh, no, it's not loading. Yeah, fudge. Okay, let's try it. Oh, no, I didn't want to do that. Yeah, fudge. Oh, okay. All right, so this is the GDAX one, but they lost all the data here. And I don't know why it did this way, but let's see if we can do this. Load. Come on, you. Ah, fudge. All right, you're just not cooperating, are you? Yeah, let's try maybe a new window. All right, let's go load. Nope. Hey, it did it. Yay. Okay. And oh, that's not what I wanted. Oh, darn it. Okay, Brian's doing a brain fart here. Hang on a second, guys. I actually got the load to work. Now, can I actually select the right thing? There we go. BTC curve. All right, so this was from back in the summer, and it is off the original chart, but off a stamp. But what do you think, guys? If you had put yourself on a dollar cost averaging program, and this is where I'm really speaking to the layman, right? I'm a lawyer, I'm a doctor, I'm a policeman. I don't have time to watch the screen 24/7. I know all you crazy trader guys are watching every tick, and you got 57 million different alerts going, and you're willing to get up at 3 o'clock in the morning. I'm not. I've got a profession, but I do want to buy Bitcoins. What the hell do I do? Well, like I said, just throw yourself on a dollar cost averaging program, and you're just going to nibble away. You can even say in this case, we actually lost the reload zone, the bottom of the reload zone, but you can see ultimately the market actually bottomed right through that window. So in comparison, I'm almost thinking we're sort of like right here right now, with sort of one more dump to go, but that's, here nor there. The point of the matter here is we are in the green box, and I don't know if you had done this back in 2014, 2015, just bought a little bit once a month, would you have been a pretty happy camper into last January? I think the answer is pretty obvious. So basically that's where we are now, right? It's hard for you to see this, I know, but the long and short of it here, green boxes, and I think I have a cute little caption here, right? Green zone is for immediate loading of passengers, not unloading, loading of passengers. So, my advice for anybody in the audience who's sort of like, I'm really interested in this Bitcoin, but I don't want to have to, teach myself how to be a trader. And Zach's, 57-page workbench, my God, it's going to kill me if I want to be a swing trader in the stock market and crypto. I just want to, have my money working and not be walking into traps. Well, basically we are in that zone. Could the market come down to 78.6 here, which is like $4,500? Sure. Just like that last cycle, could we maybe dip down and eat a little bit of this tail here and sort of some sort of panic dump into new, beginning of 2019? Sure. But you dollar cost averagers are just going to be slowly accumulating through the green box. Now, why am I going to such length talking about this? When I look at a chart like this, everybody should understand, first and foremost, that we are speculating here. Nobody knows what the fuck's going to happen in the world. I mean, nobody does. And anybody does tell you, they're full of horse hockey. I personally like crypto. I like the story. I think it is our future, but that is nothing more than just a speculation. So the question ultimately is, if I'm going to participate in a highly speculative asset like crypto, where should I be trying to focus my attention? And the irony of it all is this, just like any of the other speculative sort of businesses in this world, stock market, commodities, currencies, whatever, this is the only business when stuff goes on sale, nobody wants to buy. And so as a result, through the insano nutso blow off top, everybody and their brother is getting involved in crypto. And they're all going to get rich, and they're all going to be driving their Lambos, right? Everybody knows the story. Now that they've taken the fluff out of the market, ironically enough, nobody's interested in this stuff. I might make the argument that this is actually now when we should start getting interested in this stuff. Yes, I know, Jonas, but you're the only person who can do a crypto flambe, right? Shh, that's an inside joke. Somebody in the lounge here in the video just said, hey, I'm interested. I'm interested. All right. Anyway, the point of the matter here is Brian loves one letter of the alphabet if he's thinking about buying. Who can tell me what that, and not you guys here, because I know all you guys in the lounge know the answer to this, but who can tell me on YouTube what letter of the alphabet does Brian like to see if he wants to be a buyer? While I wait for you guys to answer me, I will open the window because it's getting kind of warm in here. It's all Brian's hot air. Brian's full of hot air again. Jesus, it's getting hot in here. Hey, you got a Dave Destroyer Stud Muffin. Hey, there's a name. Damn, I like that name. All right, so the point here is we like W's. And, you know, maybe you don't see a W today, but that doesn't mean you can't go back in history and look at this and go, oh, wow, I see exactly where I should have been buying. And really, that's what you got to do, all you YouTubers, is you have to learn what do W's look like. And if you need to go back in your chart over time, and this trading view has a really cool function, this replay tool, where you can actually like take the, I'm not quite sure how it works. I think you like click on that and then you just press play. And it will actually just sort of go through. You can see it'll just go through bar by bar by bar as the asset develops. So you can practice and just simply wait for W's. Do you see any W's? Whoa, hello. Woo, 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 woo. It says you better go back after you saw that. Go, holy Jesus, something just big happened. What just happened there? Can we go backwards here? I don't know whether we can go backwards. Forwards to real time. No, we can't go backwards. Darn. All right. So the point here is what I wanted everybody to see was market put in a low. When zooming up, you could even argue the traders trade, right? There's a cute little W right in there. Higher highs and higher lows. You could argue there's another W that comes in here, higher highs and higher lows. Nice big bull run. Woohoo! Conversely, is there any letter of the alphabet that when we see it, we ought to be a little careful? The answer, of course, is M's. So this is a bit of a sloppy W, but nonetheless, WE type action here. And then, of course, up here, up, down, up, big M action there. Market comes down. You can see that it tried to W here really wide, but that W never came in there. Sort of tried to work its way higher here, but then back down, made a new low, and then down, up, down, tested this low, and then even look in here. Look, down, up, down. Oh, sexalicious. Beautiful little W right in there. And also, too, you want to have some fun. We have a setup on the site we call LJs. We used to call it RJs, but we won't get into the reason why we changed the name now. But in essence, it just simply says, look, give me a trend line break, which you have there, and then I will take the first market structure, W, on the other side of this trend line. So you can see we worked up, then we came back down, then we went up, then we went down, then we went up, and oh, hello, we're starting to get structure. And then, remember I said about Bitcoin, right? We want to see volume to confirm that, hey, things might be changing. So you can see that through the down, right? Volume was just trailing off to nothing, and then all of a sudden volume started to spike up. And remember I said about Bitcoin earlier, I want to see some sort of signs that there's a bottom, right? The Bitcoin chart that we showed you, there's just no signs of buyers yet. Where the hell was that? Oh, I guess it was on a different screen. Nope, I don't it. It's gone. Oh, well. So the point of the matter here is we're getting sort of volume divergence. That's good. We have a trend line break, and we starting to get market structure. And then, like I said, you know, practice this. This is the great part about this tool is you can sit and practice this. Any coin, anytime, anywhere, just sit and practice. And it was so funny because when I was at my prop firm, one of the guys who actually was a really, really good trader, he said that he used to work at a really shitty job, 9 to 5. And he used to have to take the bus to the job, but he wanted to be a trader. So what he would do is he would print off a chart like this. And he would literally on the bus just take a book on the say right here and just move the screen 1 bar, right? And say, okay, would I do anything? Okay. Now, on this event here, and really you should keep an eye on that number there, $1.10. And everybody see that on the break of this 110 level, that forms an even bigger W. Can you see that big honking W that could come in there? And then all of a sudden, boom. So there's the breakout through 110, and it quickly jumped up to 144. And can you see how volume is ramping up here? We actually like to call this when we on the site we in our level 1 program we ask who's driving the bus, and so we made a high here on the green bars, red bars non-existent. Then a higher high on the green bars, buyers are stepping up. Then a higher high on the green bars. Who can tell me who's driving this bus right now? Anybody? When you see these rising green volume bars, who's driving the bus? And it's not BitConnect. I know, Zach. Of course, yeah. But you guys in the lounge, you all know this shit because you listen to me every single day. I'm kind of talking to the YouTubers all there who've never seen this stuff before. Anyway, the bottom line here is the bulls are driving the bus. Thank you, Zach. Thank you, Jonas. It's all good, dude. Anytime you want to say something, Zach, you've got the green light. So the point of the matter here is hopefully, and actually we just saw this happen on, no, not necessarily institutions considering Flebus. I would say, and this might be retail. You don't know who this is, but the bottom line is it's either the bulls are driving the bus or the bears are driving the bus. I would make the argument on this volume breakout here, this big red candle here, the bears came alive. And notice that following that event where the bears came alive, the bulls disappeared, right? Where the hell are the bulls? Where are the buyers? They just disappeared. And then, oh my God, the bears are still alive. The bears at this point are driving the bus, right? So the point of the matter here is the bears calmed down and disappeared, and the bulls came alive. And then, of course, W's, right? Brian loves his big-ass W's. Hopefully you can see this massive W. Now, the irony of it all is when you're sitting here, you're like, holy crap, that's huge, man. If I have to buy at $1.10 and I have to race down to, what, 15 cents? Oh, my God. What kind of money? And actually, this should be a really good lesson for all of you guys. If I was going to buy, where's our little trade tool? If I was going to buy this level right here, and I had to risk all the way down to here. So buying at $1.10 and going to risk to 14 cents, that's basically about 96 cents of risk? Did I get my math right? I think I'm close there. 96 cents of risk. What is the minimum level I need to be shooting for to consider taking a profit? 96 cents of risk. Can anybody tell me? We're getting some answers in the lounge. How about you YouTubers? You should all know this. Is it trading? I can see this considering Flebus is a little cheeky. 0.96, that's the amount of risk I have to take, times minimum we want, minimum. Ideally, we want to shoot for a 2-to-1. So that means really we want to see double that risk, or $1.92. If we're going to buy at $1.10, then that means that I have to see $3.02. Hopefully that makes sense to you guys. And when you're sitting here on this trade and you're like, $3.02, my God, is there any way this thing can actually get to those levels? That's all the way up here. And as sort of considering Fleabo said, right, you can let TradingView do the hard work for you if you don't like math. But you guys tell me, did this actually hit that upside objective? And the answer is, oh, look at that. It actually went quite a bit beyond. You could make the argument that it ultimately topped out at about, what is that? 4.5-to-1 risk reward. And fascinating, look at this dump. Look how they brought the market right down, right to that original breakout level, and then quickly snapped it back up to there. So the point of the matter here is that all of you can practice this W hunting technique. Now, let's go to today. Boom. Do we have any W's working yet? Yeah, sort of. Nothing as huge as this. And hopefully what you can also see too, we had some bulls ramp up here, but following that event, they've sort of backed off a bit here. Oh, is this thing still running? Let's put this away. All right. So at this point, you can see we had a cheeky, you see these cheeky little W's right here and then right down in here. I think that's sort of what happened here. All right. Cheeky little W there. Could be very reminiscent of this kind of W. Ideally, and this is really cool. Check this out, guys. If you were interested in this name here, and you saw this bottom and maybe fundamentally you like the story, yada, 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 how are you going to get in? As somebody there on the YouTube page just said a moment ago, it's not a good idea to chase the market as it's zooming up here. What is a good idea is to take your fib tool and just let this rally happen, right? Let it exhaust itself. And then you're going to simply take your reload zone tool and you're going to draw it on your charts. And that now starts giving you levels to think about being a buyer. This is actually very similar to our Bitcoin chart right at the moment, eh? We're sort of, you know, Bitcoin dad zipping down into reload zone, then away, then playing with it. Notice here, 78.6. Remember we said earlier, markets love to pivot off of that level. So, you know, if I was interested in this name, this is where I would be super duper excited. And also too, if we do that trend line breaking kind of thesis, let the trend line be broken. Then I'm hunting for any kind of market structure to get me in. You could have played this little W. That would have been tough off of these tails. A little bit high anxiety. You could have played this W off of the 61.8. But the long and short of it here is you really want to be hunting sort of down in this area. And then, of course, if you pull up your indicators, I used to do this on TradingView all the time. Let's go like this. What we should see through this event, I think I've talked to you guys about this before. Ideally, how many reasons do we want to have to justify taking a trade? I know all you guys in the lounge know this answer. If I'm thinking about taking a trade, YouTubers, take notes if you don't know this. Nice free lesson here for you. If I'm thinking about taking a trade, how many reasons should I have? Thank you, considering Flea Boss. Maybe I should sit and consider Flea Boss. Okay, I'm going to consider that for a little while. All right, and how does the sort of cadence go? Ideally, first things first, we want to see trade location. Then number two, once we're in trade location, I would like for us to then go down and look at our indicators. Can we see any sign of divergence? And as well, if we're really lucky, do we have any anecdotal evidence of if we're thinking about being a buyer, oversoldness? I like to use this, and I don't think that's a word, so I like to use this modified Williams percentage R indicator. And whenever the moving average gets into the oversold zone, it basically is telling us that the asset is oversold. This got really close. You can see the indicator itself did get oversold, but I really like the fact that this big ass W came in on the overbought oversold indicator. I can live with that. It's not bad. You're definitely not walking into a trap. What you really want to avoid, like the plague, if you're a new person to trading, is doing any buying when you see the overbought oversold indicator like this. All right, that's dangerous. And sure enough, down she goes. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, yeah, you can see. And this is the trap. In fact, our level oneers, you'll be doing Willie next week. But this is sort of this is what I really like about Willie, is that you see the breakout here. Really, according to Willie, we should have been hunting the longs through here. It is a bit late to come in on the trade here. I would, if anything, this trade here, I'd be thinking like the weekly price chart. Probably paints that W. Yeah, there it is there. A little bit late. I think really the trader's trade was right off of this low here when I did reload zones and all that fun stuff. But anyway, the point of the matter here is that reason number 2, right? We want to see if there's any signs of divergence at this point in our price chart. And you can see market made a low here. It made a lower low in price here, but notice when we look at our MACD momentum indicator, it's not making lower lows. And in fact, we made a lower low here, and you can see the indicator also did not make a lower low here. So I would actually officially call this market in divergence anywhere through this area here, right? And then the big, this is a very small divergence right here. I love these cute little divergences. Hopefully you guys can see that. Let's go like that. And we will go like that. Oh, and like that. Oh, so there is the divergence. It's confirmed right here. Remember, we said our super sexy trade location was right in here. You can see the moving averages crossed nicely on that big bullish bar right there. Really, I wouldn't even have a problem buying this breakout level right there, playing that big W. But long and short of it here, we have reason number 2. We got reason number 1, trade location. Reason number 2 now, divergence has come in. And then, like I said, the third reason we want to have to take the trade, I call structure. And what do I mean by structure? Everybody knows the letters of the alphabet. Brian loves a big old W's, right? So, got 1 reason, location. 2 reason, divergence. Where it would ideally, in an ideal world, this would be nice and oversold. We call this stupid when the moving average gets into oversold. Didn't quite get there this time. Do love the divergence. Divergence super sexy here. And then finally, give me some sort of structure. Remember, our trend line break also says take the first structure signal. Aggressive guys, they're going long off of this W. Kick-ass fucking trade, Lambo Central. More conservative, we can go off of this level. Maybe you're not going to drive a Lambo. Maybe you're going to drive like, I don't know, a Maserati or something. And then, the slow clunkers, the higher time frame, institutional players, if you will, they're going to like this level driving your Mercedes-Benz. So Lambos, Maseratis, Mercedes-Benz. Hopefully that's a fun way of thinking about trading. So you want to drive the Lambos? You got to teach yourself how to find these W's down here. After location, after divergence, you want to take it a little slower, a little bit more conservative, wait for the little bit bigger W's. You want to go even more conservative, even more sort of staid, then hunt these massive weekly W's. Any way you shake it, hopefully that helps you see the trade set itself up. Now, let's go to today. Boom. All right, so we had our sort of first W, right, off of the panic dump. Interestingly enough, it looks like we had a cute little sort of Lambo. Can everybody see the Lambo Hunter trade down in here? Cute little W, divergence, right? Definitely trade location, right? If we, Jesus, such a big chart. It's so big. If we go booty boo, to booty boo, reload zone. So any sort of structural signals down here on divergences, I can definitely see a trade. And, you know, like I said, the Lambo Hunters. And it's interesting how that original double bottom, the weekly double bottom level, look how that market's set up off of that. And this is what we call horizontal support and resistance. One of the modules that we teach for our level 2 course is that old breakout levels are a huge sort of battle line in the marketplace. So really shouldn't surprise us that on the sort of test of this level, the bulls kept putting in a fight. No real W here, no W here, but hello, we got nice WE action, especially right off of there, and that set up that trade. That trade unwound. And I suppose one could argue, Brian, well, you said let the initial pop develop, then hunt for your reasons on the reload zone test. And you can see we came down, no real W here. We made a lower low, rallied away, then came down, made a lower low, then rallied, then made a lower low, then made a lower low, then made a, oh, okay, we stopped making lower lows. Right up against this original bottoming level. So I can understand it's not really the best looking W. I don't even think it actually, I don't know whether it is a valid W. Let's see what we got here. It's close, right? You have this low right there, right against this level. That would have been a tough trade to take, but, you know, I mean, if anything, does anybody know what the statistics are? Usually W's, they work about 60, 70% of the time, let's call it. So if that's the case, you know, here you might have taken your shot and kind of like, I think I showed you like the ZEC, right? If we come back down, then, you know, traders are probably going to have in their trading plans. If you didn't have, you know, and I don't think it would have. I think this trade fired and then came right back down against the bottom. It tried to rally up and stay bullish and then lost it, put in a new M here, and then boom, anybody who did take this double bottom, they got stopped out here. And if anything, this is a really good analogy that if you are going to trade these bottoms, and again, I don't think this is really that good looking of a bottom because watch what happens when we change this to a line chart. The W disappears. That's not a good sign. We would ideally like to see the W on a clothesline basis as well. So if you want to add that into your trading plan, notice like this bottom here, if I change that to a line chart, you can actually see the W down, up, down, breakout, right? Whereas here, down, up, ooh, are we going to break out? No, new low. Rally off a new low, new low. And then we got a spike straight up here. So I could completely understand. Some people would say, well, Brian, I'm going to leave these sort of wick and tail formations. And I'm only going to get bullish if I start seeing like clothesline W's. I could completely understand that. Totally fine. Anyway, long and short of it here, had you taken this little W, boom, you're stopped out. And notice too that the market actually gave you a few days here to clean up the position. You could have walked away from this trade at that level. It's not like you didn't have the window. Now, if you just sat on your ass, kind of like what I did with that ETH trade from the fall, from the winter, no, summer, beg your pardon, when I was over in Europe, ETH fell out of bed and I came back and it was like down here. It's like, oh shit. I mean, this can happen if you don't respect these levels. In this particular case, right, I think you just got to walk away, and sure enough, down she goes. So here we are. And if we change this to a line chart, okay, well, now we do have some sort of WE type action working here. As I had said earlier, you know, you want to start thinking about taking a trade. Let's do a reload zone off of that range. All right, so that paints basically in here. And now, really, you want to make this nice and easy. Let's look for signs of divergence. All right, so hopefully everybody, and what's cool about this is actually this is in a situation where Willie is stupidly oversold, sexy. And hopefully everybody sees that, oh, look at MACD. Price actually made a lower low here, but MACD did not, and then MACD turned back up, and actually this is what we like to call a confirmed divergence. So we've got location, you know, off of the entire time frame. Wow, awesome location. I mean, I like to tell people you can start hunting for trade ideas at or below the reload zone. We are definitely at or below the reload zone. And what do you think? Is the public interested in crypto right now? All the idiots that were just going nuts. And remember last summer, guys, do you remember? I got myself into so much trouble on Twitter for calling the public things like bimbos and people assuming that I'm making reference to women. Hate to say it, guys, women and men can be bimbos together. I've seen lots of men bimbos in this world. But the point here is, does it make sense that the public, bimbos, right, men and women, not sexist, anybody can be bimbos, they're most interested up here. We as professionals, should we be interested in buying this asset up here? No freaking way. We got to wait for the fluff to come out of the market. I think it actually looks like there was a half decent little trade that set up for the trader trades through here that ultimately did not hold. You know, you could argue that if the market had come down here, held these lows, and then turned back up, we'd have the same situation as this, just repeated. But it didn't happen, did it? So that didn't happen. Market actually broke to lower lows, cool your jets. We said that there was a cute little sort of intraday setup that came in here, wicks and tails, but not really the best clothesline. So if you want to wait for clotheslines to show you those W's, great. That's not a bad idea. The clothesline W now is finally coming in as we're right back against these original lows. The market is actually in divergence. We're actually stupid here now. So put it all together, I got to say that this thing's looking pretty damn attractive. It only took me about a half an hour to get to the point of me actually saying it's attractive. Now, if we take this approach on each of these names, we should be here for another 3 or 4 hours. And remember, of course, Brian, he loves the sound of his own voice. Anyway, I didn't get a chuckle out of anybody. None of you guys thought that was funny? Oh, well. Okay, fine. All right, so to sort of finish off the thought on this IOTA, believe it or not, I actually would not have a problem whatsoever if somebody came to me and said, Brian, I've got an order to buy on a stop, 1 tick above this high, and I will risk against this low. If I'm going to take the trade, we then have to ask ourselves, all right, I think I did that as the long tool, right? I think that's a long tool. Yeah, that looks right. If I'm going to take this W, that's assuming that it comes in. Well, we don't know if it's going to come in. But if it does come in, that market structure, what did I say was the minimum that we have to see as a profit objective? Anybody remember? 2 to 1, I think, was the magic number that Brian likes. If you want to, you could say, well, you know, Brian, I'm going to risk all the way down to a break of this low and give this market some room. Even though a W comes in here, I've seen people do that, and I don't have a problem with that. I think, though, that if this W does come in and we lose this level, then the trade's probably toast. But for simplicity's sake, let's have our stop against this low, assuming that a W comes in. We're not there yet, so it means that we're, you know, there's nothing to do right now. If the W does come in, great. Ideally, we'd like to see it on volume. We've already got the divergence. We already had Willie go stupid there. So what it means if we do decide to trade this W is a minimum we want to see as a profit objective is going to be 2 to 1, right? If you're right, you get paid relative to if you're wrong. That's the key to making money at this game. And really what that would imply is we're just going to go up and explore this doji shooting star candle right here. There's probably a whole bunch of trapped bulls in that candle right there that would love nothing more than just to be released. So if price pops up into that area, they all go, oh, phew, get me the fuck out of here. Square up the position. I didn't lose any money. I'm not sleeping on the couch anymore, right? Remember all those fun talks? My hunch, though, is, you know, I would be inclined if I was going to take this trade, I would maybe look to sell part of the position at 2 to 1, move your stop to scratch on the remaining, and then see if you can get a bit greedy. Right? Once you're in that sort of, I've booked a bit of profit, so I've sort of paid for the work that I've put in. I made a little bit of money. I've got this free position now, and I've put my stop to scratch on the remaining. So if it does come back down, I'll just walk away from the rest of the position at scratch. But I might even suggest that on that remaining position, see if you can ride it. Right? We could make the argument that if this is the bottom and we're going to do some sort of technical bounce, we're probably going to bounce all the way back up into here. And what's actually kind of cool about this is you can see how there's, you know, level twoers. I see Joshua, you're now watching on YouTube. You just did this yesterday. Can you see how we have a double distribution here? So you have sort of the original profile. And it's kind of messy. It sort of looks like that. Yeah, there we go. So value high, value low, something like that. There's the POC. So I think we're stuck in value for the time being. And actually, that kind of makes sense too, right? Because that's going to basically be up into here. If we do a 38.2, what do you think the odds are that it's sort of sitting up in that area? I bet it is. Let's see. 38.2, yeah, oh, it's all the way up there. So in essence, 38.2 is going to ask for a test of these highs. But I might make the argument that if the market can accept above value high here, then it's probably going to run into this POC up here. And like we said, that's the old reload zone. And just like we talked about with trap bears, right, you could make an argument that there are a bunch of trap bears, trap bulls, beg your pardon, trap bulls right in that candle there. There's probably some trap bulls in that candle there. And right up in here too. And if we do a fib off of this low back up to this high, all right, now 38.2 probably is lining up with value high nicely off of those levels. It looks to me like 38.2 is going to line up against these wicks here. And also, hopefully everybody sees that this is a big M right there. So this is actually a really powerful level as well, that market structure failure level. So, you know, if we were thinking about taking the trade, ironically enough, we want to take profits, partial profits right in this area, at least 2 to 1. You want to extend that up to like 200 period moving average, shoot for a 4 to 1. Hey, I'm not going to argue, but I just don't think it's in your best interest to get into the habit of booking like 1 to 1, or even worse, booking like less than 1 to 1 profit. Try and force yourself to, at the very minimum, try and book at least a 2-to-1 profit objective. Then that way, if you book 2-to-1 profit objectives, you only have to be right 50% of the time just to break even. If you're even slightly righter than 50% of the time doing 2-to-1s, then you're making money. And that's the whole point of this, is we got to make money, actually be a profitable trader. And then, like I said, on the remaining, my hunch is, these higher time frame fibs, there's a lot of room for this market to run. You can see where 200 period moving average is. It's against all this cluster. There's 38.2 just off of this range alone is at $1.27. Believe it or not, I think you could easily have a rally back up into this traffic area, and that's an 8-to-1 risk reward. Now, you sell part at 2-to-1, maybe, right in there. Then stop to scratch on remaining. You get some sort of insane blow off top that takes it up to that 8-to-1. Maybe you say, okay, fine, at 8-to-1, I'm going to take the rest of my profits. So 2-to-1 on half of your trade, 8-to-1 on the other half of your trade. Sounds to me like, that's about a 5-to-1 risk reward on the entire trade setup. Now, this is the question that I have for you, all you YouTubers. If you, on average, can force yourself to book 5-to-1 risk reward setups, how often do you actually have to be, quote unquote, right to just be a scratch trader? And I can see nobody's listening to me. Maybe I should wind this up soon. Bottom line is, if you have 5-to-1 risk reward, you only have to be right 20% of the time. Thank you, Zenego. Somebody answered me. Yay. You only have to be right 20% of the time just to break even. Obviously, with 5-to-1 risk rewards, if you're right 50% of the time, you're starting to talk Lambos. All right, so that's sort of what I see on this IOTA. Somebody just, 10J says OBV on IoT BTC doesn't look so good. Yeah, and remember we said earlier what we really want to see is we want to see those bulls sort of wake up. So we had the initial wake up sort of a notice on this candle here, and then notice the bulls have fallen back asleep. So what we'd really like to see here is we'd love to see that this double bottom, Tunjay, actually comes in on a nice big volume breakout. If you had that, then rock and roll. So I totally agree with you, Tunjay. Basically, when I look at this chart, everybody looks like they're falling asleep. So we'll see what happens. Only time will tell. And keep in mind, like I said, the W has not confirmed here yet. You were referring to the BTC chart. Okay, fair enough. All right, so let's keep moving this train forward because I spent way too much time on that guy. Okay, Ethereum versus USD. What was really interesting about this chart is this is versus US dollar. I could make the argument that we're, again, the fluff has been taken out of the market. If you want kind of a fun tool to add to your tool belt, a lot of our community has noticed within the venture capital space, this 88.6 gets a lot of play. I have sort of deemed 61.8 to 78.6 our reload zone. And you can see there's a cute little W that came in here through the zone back in the spring. This is sort of that April 20th, pot day. I don't know whether we talked about this in the last free video that we did, but we sort of explained the altcoin seasonality. They love to have this kind of little rally in the middle of April. And it's all, usually the pot coins lead the charge. You can see that seasonal rally. It was a pretty nice one. Following that event, we rolled over. And what kind of sucks about this is you can sort of see that they had tried to set up a bottom to come in on this thing. So there's the reload zone within a reload zone. And you can see this cute little W. But I remember I had said right at the beginning of our conversation today, nobody knows the future. All we are is statisticians. Usually when these W's come in, but notice this W did not come in on heavy volume like that IOTA W came in. So again, sort of as Tunjay is making reference to, you want to let the volume confirm that the buyers have returned, and you just don't see it here. But nonetheless, had you played this double bottom or bought this reload zone on this double bottom, this was through the summer. You'll notice, and this kind of sucks, but it does happen in trading. I see this happen a lot, is the market goes in W's. Then it turns out right, literally the moment it W's, it goes in and it puts in an M right following the W. If you want to add into your trading plan, we were doing harmonics with the level 3ers. And there's a gentleman, Scott Carney, who's really big on harmonics on the internet. A lot of the kids like to listen to his videos. He just simply says, you break this trend line and I'm going to walk away from the trade. You can basically see the break of that trend line basically happen this within a bar or two of the break of the W. You could also, if you're chicken shit and you're just like, if I see an M that comes in right after I buy something, I'm just going to get the hell out of there. You can see how the market tried to W and then instantly right after it M'd out. So in essence, it's almost like the market tried to set up a trade. It was feeling optimistic. It was feeling bullish. Trend lines didn't really set up too well here. But nonetheless, break of the trend line, first market structure signal you get. I like this. This was the trade I think I was talking about through the summer. I went on vacation to Europe. I think one of the reasons why this thing fell down was because I did the Vitalik pose. Everybody's supposed to do the Vitalik pose right outside of his office in, what's the name of his city that he lives in? It's like Crypto City in Switzerland. It's like Zorn or Zing or Zang or something like that. Anyway, I did the crypto pose, and maybe the crypto gods were not impressed with me mocking Mr. Vitalik. But the long and short of it here is that long setup instantly failed following the W. It instantly M'd out, and you should have walked away. Of course, I come back from vacation here, and so I had to tell all my community, well, I've missed the trade. It's gone beyond me. I don't put too much money. Zug, thank you very much. No, it's not Zurich. There's actually, it's like a 3-letter word city, and it's supposed to be like Crypto Central in Switzerland. Zug, I think Zug's the name of it. Thank you, Lord One Helm Chicken. Anyway, fast forward. Market tried to W at the line in the sand here. Down, up, down, new closing low. All those people looking at clotheslines instead of just clean bodies, no W. Tried to put in a little bit of a W here, but then that got busted out. Bears came out, rah, look at me, I'm a bear, rah, rah, rah. New M's, oh, Jesus, just getting worse. We've gone and tried to W again here. And what's interesting about this, if we zoom in, and this is sort of, I think, the sort of the state of crypto right at the moment. Hopefully everybody looks at this and goes, oh, okay, so that was a V bottom. Market came down, put in an inside bar, broke higher. We should have been able to look at this and go A, B, C, D. What a shock. Market rallied right into that harmonic objective. We should look at this 3-bar pattern and say, oh my goodness, that's a fractal. So it sucks, but long and short of it here is that's a sell signal on a fail of that bar's low right there. This is also an inside bar. So, people who are watching this video and have ever sort of seen me do the tweets, I say that there are bull-bear battle lines drawn in the market all the time. If the market had held this low and turned up and gone through this high, then the bulls would still be in control. If we lose this inside bar low, then the bears take over. So in this particular case, you can see the bull-bear battle zone was won by the bears. Down she goes. Notice too, the counter trend rally, dead cat bounce, came literally right back to that original fail level and then rolled over. You could argue now we've worked our way back down into reload zones. And I like to use 61.8 to 78.6 for my quote-unquote reload zone. And remember, I was a commodities trader for quite a while. I worked at a firm in Chicago. And when I was trading commodities, big liquid contracts, crude oil, whatever, the market would obey these 61.8, 78.6 religiously. So that's why I like to call it reload zone. And in this particular case, you can see, and I think Ethereum is a bit more of a mature asset. So it doesn't surprise me that it actually obeyed this reload zone very closely. So market comes down into reload zone. You can see it painted a nice inside bar. So here is a bearish inside bar reversal. This is now a bullish inside bar reversal off of that level there. You could also say, well, Brian, this sure looks to me, if I change my chart to a line chart, like a W. Can you see how the bullish inside bar reversal almost is exactly the same level as the W? I don't think that's an accident. And of course, it's inside this reload zone. So to me, this looks like a classic trader's trade. Had a little dead cat bounce. Now, the problem here is if this is a ranging market, then just the same logic that we do reload long zone here, we can take this low and draw our fibs going back up, and now this becomes the reload short zone going forward. So right now, when I look at this, this to me looks like a range-bound market. Bottom end of the range, top end of the range. Cute little reversal at the top end of this AB equals CD extension. And we could also argue too, if you were hunting longs, if we go boobity boo, and let's maybe make that purple, and we go snoobity coo. Can you see how this level here was a perfect tag of that AB equals CD target level? That's kind of cool, eh? So, you know, if you're watching this for the first time and you're kind of like, well, I don't know, man, are these trade levels really that predictable? Ironically enough, they really are, guys. So in this particular case, I think, and I actually like to teach our beginners, level oneers, if you're watching this video, do you see how AB equals CD, right? And we're going to do our extensions, right? Boobity boo. And then go extension, boobity snoo, right? We know that AB equals CDs love to line up off of 127s to 1618s. These are called alt AB equals CDs. So in this particular case, looks like we went right down, didn't quite hit 144.5. That might have been like 141. But nonetheless, right down into these extension windows. And what I really want you level oneers to do is start playing connect the dots. That this AB equals CD extension takes us right down into reload zone against the line in the sand there. So this is super sexy trade location. Inside bar, W's, it shouldn't surprise us that the market rallied away from there. Okay, so where are we right now? I do like the fact that we've made a higher high and higher lows, right? Did this get taken out? It looks like it. Right there. That's encouraging. But at the same time too, and you know, you might even say, well, Brian, well, the logic of your AB equals CDs, let's maybe do this in teal, says that we probably should expect the market to exhaust itself at whatever AB equals CD that is. And this is interesting because now we're starting to get up into Mountain Man, 61.8. My hunch is the market really wants to get up into this level here. So we'll see what happens. What's interesting about this top is that the top is actually on very, very low volume. So I don't know whether I can actually believe that that's a real top. We'll see how it goes. Only time will tell. In the short term, can we sort of see anything that's going on here? I might make the argument that, this is a fairly nice little rally. So if we go boobity boo, and then we do reload zones, hopefully we can see that pretty good shot that we'll have to come back down into this area. And I absolutely love when we get overlapping reload zones. Super sexy. So we've got 78.6 just off of this little range right here, right? And that overlaps with this higher time frame, 61.8. So this looks like a really, really interesting little window for me. So if I was wanting to buy ETH now, what should be really cool is if we draw a trend line, boobity boo. There we go. What you should see is confluence. Dun, dun, dun. So to me, and now we can also do an AB equals CD going the other direction. Maybe do that. We need a different color. Too many colors. Oh, my goodness. Anyway, AB, and then off of this rally peak, CD. Whoa, look at that. So can you see how we have a trend line? We have AB equals CD. That's off of this rally peak. We have reload zone within a reload zone. And this happens to be the original double bottom breakout level right in there. So if you were hunting trade location on Ethereum, and really this shouldn't surprise us, in traders sort of speak, markets absolutely love big fat round numbers. So what a surprise. We got a big fat round number here, 200 bananas. So my hunch is the market wants to oscillate around 200 bananas. And if you were interested in being a buyer, I would keep a really close eye on something like that. So hopefully that helps. We'll see how it goes. Only time will tell. And really, pound the table. This thing is a rip-roaring bull. I don't think we can get to that stage until we start seeing this level way up here taken out. And that will form just a massive W off the higher time frames. All right, so I hope that helps with what I'm seeing on ETH right at the moment. If we look at our indicators, just to get an idea of what they're saying, volume is unimpressive. That's a bit of a concern. You can see, remember we talked about who's driving the bus. You can see the bulls sort of were awake, okay, and then, they're starting to go back to sleep. They kind of perked up here, but now they've really sort of backed off. That's not really that good. On this big dump, that's that candle there. You can see the bears came alive. So you can see volume-wise, there's a real battle going on here, right? OBV, you can see if we break through these lows on OBV, that's going to be a new trending lower signal. Not good. And then also, too, we have to be cognizant of the fact that ETH is extremely, in my opinion, extremely tax loss sensitive because of all these ICO tokens. So my hunch is we're probably going to see quite a bit of tax loss selling on a lot of these ICO tokens into the end of the year. And the question ultimately, what is that effect going to be on Ethereum? As well, too, if you look at previous years, I don't know whether this has last year's on here or not, but Ethereum loves to dump into the end of the year. Well, maybe it wasn't last year. Maybe it was the year before. I remember we had a site member, Michael, who was really, really good analyst. And he just went absolutely apeshit bullish on Ethereum on this event. So hopefully all you YouTubers, you want to learn how to trade, make money from trading, right? Hopefully you see this same conversation, dump, rally away from the lows, come down, test the lows, hold the bottom, turn around, big bull market, right? And there's your big weekly higher time frame W. And also too, excellent anecdote. We saw this on Bitcoin earlier. You get the breakout, the market comes back down and checks the original breakout level and can't get back below here. In essence, this now becomes a trading range. These lows, are we in this range anymore? Nope. And now the resolution of this range sort of launches the bull. So as it stands right now, you know, if we're looking sort of comparatively, I think we're sort of like in this phase right now. If we can come down into the end of the year and hold these lows without making new lows, then I think we got the case for the next bull to start. So you can see how this is developing. Now, the worry that I have is maybe we're like right here, right? Key lows, coming down, test the lows, November, right? And we still needed one more big fuck you into the end of the year to mark that ultimate bottom. So that's what I'm still worried about here in this space, is I just don't know whether, you know, given tax loss selling pressures, given the hangover year and all that kind of talk, do we still need to have one more sort of FU against these lows to ultimately mark the bottom? And you'll know in earnest that we're back in the bull if we can hold these lows and turn back up through these highs here. And really the irony of it all is we're $208 right now. Considering this silly thing, what did it top out at? Like $2,000-$3,000? Okay, no, that was a bit aggressive. $1,400, right? So we're sitting here at $200, and we're basically saying, just give me a print above 250, then I'll know that we're back in a bull. Do you see, guys, especially all you YouTubers? This is the classic conversation where we're going to let, and I mean, look at all these lines. Talk about a fucking fight, eh? Excuse my French. I'm swearing like a sailor here. Well, we're going to let the traders fight this out. Don't get too wrapped up in this. If the market can break above here and we start making higher highs and higher lows and volumes coming in, blah, 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 really, this is the chunk of the market that we want to try and capture right in there. Right? If I do my reload zone back up top, all the way up top, see how that works, right? And I'd just be looking to sell in the reload short zone up top here against these highs, whatever, right? Right up into here. So quite often it's actually in our best interest just to let the traders fight this out. We don't have to get wrapped up in that. Remember, we showed you Bitcoin, same thing, you know, back in 2014, 2015. Let the traders fight this out. As soon as this thing does start, and, you know, I always suggest to people, hunt weekly Ws. That's the easiest way for you to see that the market has actually turned. So let the traders fight this out, put the bottom in the market, and then, you know, as I said before, you know, especially little old ladies just nibbling. Was it? I mean, you look back in hindsight and you go, gee whiz, I can't even see where they were fighting that out anymore. That's usually what ends up happening. So to finish off our thought here, you know, you can hunt trade setups, and it really all depends on your trading plan. If you like to watch the screen, if you're active, right, you're banging out sells off of these AB equals CD PRZ tags. You're banging off buys off of these AB equals CD PRZ tags. You're having fun trading away in this range. But if you really want to keep it easy, and you're like, Brian, I'm a lawyer, I'm a doctor, I live a life, I don't like watching the screen 24/7, then my advice to you is just wait for these big weekly higher time frame W's to come in, and then you'll know the bull is back. Okay, wow, 2 down. How many more to go? I'll try and do this relatively quick. On a side note, on IOTA, 2.7 billion coins, 1.3 market cap. Ouch. All right, so Jonas just made an excellent point here. Technically, we're supposed to be calling ourselves the rational investor. We're rational analysts. Do we want to inject a little bit of fundamentals into our thinking here before we just go blindly spending our money? Not a bad idea. And really, rational analysis is nothing more. Let's see if I think the level 2 class we just had it, the video should be on here. Rational analysis, we do nothing more than try to find the intersection. Let's say this is fundamentals and this is technicals, and we want to find the intersection of where they overlap. Really, we don't want to say that fundamentals is the only way to think. We don't want to say that technicals is the only way to think. Well, all right, take it easy, Zach. Nice seeing you, bud. And again, hats off to you. Great work on your journaling and your workbench. You're a model for us all. We don't want to necessarily say that, technicals is better than fundamentals or fundamentals is better than technicals. What we really want to do is we just want to find the ideas where the fundamentals and the technicals agree. And both camps say, yeah, this thing's a screaming buy. So Jonas just made a really good point that, you might look at that IOTA story and say, Brian, great, there's the technicals. Looks like it's, maybe setting up for a trade. I don't know whether there's any new buyers. I'll wait for the buyers to come in and I'll wait for the W to come in. But really, the fundamental story is a bit suspect. It's already got $1 billion market cap. Can it go to 2 billion? Can it go to 3 billion? Can it go to 4 billion? Well, that's, what's the old political saying? $1 billion here, $1 billion there, and soon we're actually starting to talk about some serious money. I'm not going to comment on the fundamentals of these stories, just because we just don't have enough time. I got to shut the hell up and get over to North Van to pick my son up. This is strictly a conversation on technicals. I'm not going to comment on the fundamentals today. We could spend a whole conversation, a whole day on just analyzing fundamentals off of these in itself. There are, on a side note, there are some really cute websites that you have available to you if you want to study just an overview of what the fundamental story is. There's one site, we really like this Coin Checkup. And if I go IOTA and spit it up, it gives you a cute little sort of summary of what they believe are the fundamentals. And, they're not overly impressed. The short-term price forecast they're showing here is actually strong sell. Their algo scores, they're given pretty high numbers, though. Those aren't bad. So I'll leave it to your own discretion as to how you interpret the fundamentals. I'm not going to comment about that today. What I will simply say is, technically speaking, is it realistic to see a 38.2 tag here? I think it is, but I'm not going to comment. And, if it's 1.3 billion now at 50 cents, then at $1.25, that means it's worth what, about 2.5, 3 billion? I'll leave that as a conversation for another day. Considering that at some point this thing was $5 or basically 10x what it is today, that means they were valuing this thing at some point down the road at like 10, 15 billion dollars. Think of it this way, guys. And I have to sort of retrain myself to a certain degree. There was a lottery down in the States, and the jackpot was like, I think it was like $1.5 billion. So if a lottery is $1 billion, is it realistic for like a fully functioning cryptocurrency that is used throughout the globe as a infrastructure platform to be worth 10, 20, 30 billion dollars? I don't know. I mean, it seems to me that that's not totally outlandish. The problem here is we actually have to train ourselves. What is the actual value of money? I'm not justifying the market cap here. I'm not touting the story, but maybe just take a moment and just ask yourself, what is the actual value of money? And maybe, this is a commentary that we just want to avoid names like this. You want to build into your screener that I only buy cryptos that have less than a market cap of, say, 20 million bucks, 10 million bucks. That's fine. Obviously, your names are going to be slightly limited, but we used to build screeners. In fact, Dav has a really popular screener, and Dav's done very, very well in crypto. And he has a very popular fundamental model screener that we use on the site, and it's based off of like 2015, 2016 metrics. So, but nonetheless, let's finish the conversation there. We talked about Ethereum. What's the market cap of Ethereum right now? I don't even know what it is. Cripple, we're probably going to see the same things. I really don't expect any difference. Yeah. Basically, what's so sad about a story like Cripple, there was like professional sports figures coming out and touting it up here. Was that a good idea? Probably not. Everybody looking at this chart should see exactly where you should be a buyer. Brian likes those W's. Down, up, down, breakout. So it's pretty obvious, 29 cents. What a coincidence. Can everybody see? The market comes right back down to that original breakout level and pops higher. Should that surprise anybody? The answer should be an unequivocal no. Shouldn't surprise anybody at all. Do we have the makings for the next sort of bull run here? I think we're still a bit early. Kind of like the Ethereum, I might even just draw a line off of that high. Let's maybe make this yellow. And kind of like Bitcoin, same sort of thing. Draw a line off of those lows. We'll go down to a daily chart. And there's your trading range. So, kind of like what we did on the ETH, can you draw AB equals CDs inside this range to help you? I think so. That was that higher time frame level. Hopefully everybody looking at this sees the very noticeable fractal right off of this level. The fractal itself issues a buy signal on the break of that high. Maybe let's make that white. So, little daily buy signal right there. If you were like, okay, there's the rally, Brian. I'm going to hunt a reload zone, which is in essence nothing more than just a test of the original bottom. Brian absolutely loves candle body closes for trade location. And notice how that sets up really nicely off the 78.6. And sure enough, you see price comes down into that area, and lo and behold, I get a nice W that forms right there. If we change this to a line chart, everybody hopefully can see the W, down, up, down, breakout. So I think there's a hell of a trade right there. Not going to sugarcoat it. Looks like an awesome little trade right there. If you had the balls to step up on Ripple right there, that's at 28 cents. You got yourself almost a four-bagger. Brian, and I think we even talked about this in the public, if he's hunting these W's in reload zones, going to simply risk against the bottom end of the range. Now, me personally, I'd like to risk into this tail and just give the market the ability to do an FU against these lows. But like I said, with that other name, IOTA, if you just want to risk against this W, that's fine. Look to take partial profits at 2 to 1, which gave you just a gift right out of the gate. Bang, bang, bang. Within 3 days, you got your 2 to 1. Sell part of the position on just a test of the top end of this trading range. Stop to scratch on the remaining, and then woohoo, party central on the rest of this trade. Maybe you say, well, Brian, that sell 2 to 1 part of it, and then I'm going to force myself to sell at 8 to 1 on the remaining. So that gives me a nice 5 to 1 average. That means that I'm going to be risking there to there. And let's see, did we get 8 to 1? There's 8 to 1 there. So it turns out on this one, you could have done even better. But there is your 5 to 1. How many of these trades do you have to actually see work if you force yourself that I'm going to sell half of it at 2 to 1, then sell the other half at 8 to 1, which gives me a 5 to 1 total risk reward? How many of those trades have to work for you just to be a scratch trader, assuming every other trade completely fails? Only 20%, 1 in 5 trades. And I got to tell you guys, this is how professionals make money from trading. In this particular case, you would maybe sell at 8 to 1 and go, oh, fuck me, look how much money I left on the table. Then after the fact, a few days later, you're like, okay, well, I think that was actually not a bad idea. If you're right even 50% of the time, flip of the coin, at 5 to 1 risk reward, you're making so much money, you're going to have Lambos coming out your butt. What do I see right now? Well, I see that the trade's over. That's what I see here. That's basically what I'm thinking. You can kind of see that, big volume push. Remember we talked about the bulls coming alive. You want anecdotal evidence to support you buying this W here. There's your big volume breakout. And probably if we looked at this move here, my hunch is that was probably on a divergence. We don't need to go into all that right now. As I had said just a moment ago, trade locations, the shit right there, right? So we should have been hunting for long anyway there. Volume breaks out, market goes nuts, making lots of money. Now, ironically enough, at this point, I think you have to go into sort of hibernation mode again. You can see the market did back off into reload zones here. And also, too, and this is kind of interesting, that's that original W. Mind you, this closing low was lower than that low, so that bigger W is a little bit suspect in my eyes. I can understand, and hopefully all of you guys watching this, you've now been watching me for so long, it makes sense why there was a fight in here. I think it just makes, aside from this trade, and this trade's gone now, right? Let's say you're looking at this as a brand new idea. I might pull up this chart, right, and just simply say, okay, well, there's the top end of the range. There's the bottom end of the range. There's my reload zone. I can start hunting in here. Me personally, that's a bit of vertigo to actually justify pulling the trigger right there. But hopefully all of you can see there is a little bit of a W in here, right? Boom, boom, boom. So, I can understand if somebody came to me and said, well, Brian, 3 reasons. If there was a divergence through this in momentum, you do have location. You do have the bulls coming back alive here. You do have a W to work with. It's just me personally, I would prefer to try and be long down here. But you can see this is working away. And ironically enough, we do our AB equals CDs. Hopefully everybody can see. Show you, why don't we go back to close line? There. So AB. My hunch is I want to take it up into this area up here. Kind of like Ethereum. We got a little bit of a failure before those ultimate objectives. Inside bar failure here, right? Backing off. I suppose you could argue if you wanted to try and get in on this idea now. Notice how the original double bottom level is there, and the 78.6 is right there. What's that literal? And also, too, we could do a little AB equals CD here, right? Boobity boo. Let's make that purple. And boobity schnoo. I don't know if it's going to play out like this, but nonetheless, you can see how that could take us back down into that area. So if I was sort of hunting, I think I might, be sort of watching this. What is that? 42, 43 cents area for an opportunity to get in. kind of trade. Yeah, not really overly attractive, not really underly attractive. And if anything, you know what this kind of reminds me of? Remember I'd said earlier with Bitcoin? This kind of reminds me of sort of playing tennis. If you're hunting for trades, you can see where the buying zone is, right? And if anything, you know, this is our tennis court analogy. So we really want to be playing at the baseline or up at the net. We don't really want to be playing in this area, no man's land, right? So if anything, this pullback down into here against this original bottom, that's playing at the baseline. Right now, looking at a trade idea right now, I think we're sort of sitting, you know, in this no man's land area right now. This is a dangerous area to either be playing long or short. You could easily have a swing down here, stops out your longs, or a swing up here, which stops out your shorts. All right. Thank you, Shane. Can you please show volume profile? Oh, okay. So this should be interesting. We'll put on winter. All right. So, oh boy. So we put on the profile here and we see that right now, can you see, Rocker, how we are stuck in a MUOC, right? This is the valley of death here, right? So we really would like to see some volume come in and fill that in. But look at this. Rocker, can you see this? Oh, boy. That's one kick-ass MUOC there, right? So my hunch is there's a lot of unfinished business down in there. That's a stone cold valley. So, you know, maybe we get this AB equals CD dump into here. We get some insane buying, but really, I might argue that really key support isn't all the way till down there, which tells me, remember, this is kind of a V bottom here, right? So which tells me I think they got to go after that low and test it in earnest. So, you know, think tennis court right now, not really a very good trade location. And remember, we don't want to play in no man's land. Trade location is absolutely the number one thing that we have to start off hunting. Okay, I did 3 names. I'm not going to be able to get to this one, Einsteinium. Maybe we'll try to plan to do that next week. Long and short of it here, no fucking way I'd be buying this right here. If I was interested in being a buyer, I'd have to draw my reload zones. And probably we should be, yeah, I can see it right now. So you can see 61.8 is down in this area, down in here. And we zoom in. Level 2ers just did this 2 weeks ago. And your best, and actually we have a script on the site that'll help you find these. So if you want to join the site, you can get that script. But we should be hunting gaps, right? So there's a gap right there that needs filling. There's also a gap right there that needs filling. Looks like this gap needs filling. And I would go through this like with a fine-tooth comb. You can see there is the bottom, the big railroad tracks lows. These tails could use some eating. That is the 78.6. So if we zoom out, right, you can clearly see where Brian might be interested in buying. I couldn't buy it up here. So that one actually is pretty easy. Simple as that. And I suppose, you know, looking at higher time frame, yeah, lots and lots of room to the upside. My feeling is, you know, if we go to like a daily chart, yeah, same sort. Whoops. I'm not quite sure what that is. Holy moly. Oh, thing's going to blow up here. All right. So, yeah, same sort of thing off of the dailies. You can see where the real fight, the real bottom was put in. So if I was interested in being a buyer, I think I'd want to target sort of this 6 cents area, somewhere between 5.8 and 7.4. Okay, I think I'm going to leave it at that. Hope you guys enjoyed the offering. I have no idea how long I went today, but I'm sure way too long. This is basically what we do Monday to Friday on the site, every single day of the week, looking at lots of stuff. Actually, I was supposed to look at penny stocks today in this weekend edition, but I think I've just gone way overboard and just talking about crypto today. But what the hell? Did we have some fun? Rocker, you were here from minute one of the brief today. What did you think? Did you get any value added today? All right, I'm going to assume that you did. And actually we have to get into the habit now, right? So we have to say, if you could please, if you're watching YouTube, could you please all hit the, I think the like button. I'm not quite sure what that is. I think it's this like button. We'd highly appreciate that. Can you subscribe, I guess, to the YouTube channel? I think that's what we're supposed to do. And hopefully this gets Albert. Albert goes, oh yeah, score, Brian. All right, you're doing it. Good job. Keep going. We're on Twitter. The handle that we have here is CR Investor, because I used to call myself the Canadian Rational Investor, because there was a guy who is an American who used to call himself the Rational Investor back in the 90s, and he threatened to sue me. So that's why my Twitter handle is CR Investor. But nonetheless, Rational Investor, you can see that. We should probably change that to TRI, but nonetheless. Facebook. Hey, there's Sjord. So Sjord's sort of sitting in the background going, okay, let's see if this Beamish guy's going to throw me under the bus. I'm just kidding. This website, this is, hey, Sjord, you're watching this. I think we need to update what should we be developing and working on. This looks a little bit old. I think we better update that. But this is Sjord's baby. Such a beautiful site. And we've actually got the screeners up and running now, and the screeners are actually spitting up crypto ideas as well. So we're super, super stoked. Everybody on this site is just totally jazzed about this. And of course, on a day-to-day basis, when the stock market's open, it's spitting out lots of signals. Beautiful work, Sjord. Just fantastic work. So let's see. I did the YouTube page. Please like, subscribe, hit the smash button or whatever the kids say. We talked about Twitter. Do I need to be doing? I don't know whether did we set up a new Facebook page or not? I can't remember. But anyway, find us on Facebook, The Rational Investor. I think we're on there somewhere. I suppose in future videos I'll have this script down cold, like this, do that, do that, do that. But anyway, hope you guys enjoyed the offering today. This is basically what we do. We run a school to teach you how to run trading plans and, be able to do your professional workbench like Zach showed you earlier today. So proud of Zach. Great, great work. We have a very active lounge where we're just chit-chatting about trade ideas and setups all day long with our members and our community. As you can see, we have a whole bunch of different rooms that we all run, different styles of trading, everything from things like swing trading the stock market to, RSP investing for Canadians, day trader setups. There's our OK Coin competition room that we have all ready to go to kick ass there. So really, really robust community and a lot of fun to wake up on a daily basis and hang out with you guys. Okay, I think I'm going to leave it at that, or I'll be here all afternoon. I hope everybody enjoyed the offering. All the best. And the only thing left to say is a big bye for now.